like being able to, having played on Tuesday, an extra day, I guess, preparing for a team like this probably doesn't hurt.
Absolutely. It was a quick turnaround with TCU. Probably could have used a couple of days to get ready for Baylor. So it's always better, in this situation where you're preparing to play against really good teams, and actually having another day to get over that hangover, that win would have been great too for a team who's pretty inexperienced. But I was very grateful to have a day, and I think that we got better.
Is this a measuring stick game for the Big 12?
In what respect, measuring?
Measuring where your team is with the rest of the Big 12.
No, not at all. I don't think so. I mean, they're the creme de la creme of the league. They've won the league, maybe like the last 8 years. I mean, they're the standard. And I don't think we're at a point right now to say this is a measuring stick game. I just think that we have to see, when we play against teams like this, and we haven't really proved it other than the Alabama game, where we can play against teams of this magnitude and come out and compete for 40 minutes. And that's the measure. That's the only measure stick for us, is how good Texas Tech can be playing Texas Tech basketball.
I mean, Jeff obviously changes the games in a lot of ways, even when he's not blocking shots. What are your impressions of him, even that since you've been here in the Big 12, seeing him grow and just how he affects a game?
I think he's developed offensively for sure, and I think that he changes the game in so many ways. Not only just the blocks, but the hurries, and that's a lot of things people don't chart is the hurries, and he really plays really hard, and he runs the floor well. I mean, he's really the anchor of that team, and he just makes things so difficult for you. And what you have to do is you have to sometimes get him away from the basket. Even doing that, he still has a way of just covering so much ground. So he's definitely something to be dealt with, and he's definitely on the list of concerns very high as far as priorities of ways to score and try to manipulate the game where we can get things done without him being just in the middle, just clogging up the lane the entire time and blocking shots.
You guys sort of took away Baczynski when you played Arizona State to a large degree. Is there anything you can take away from that experience, knowing that he's kind of a similar shot blocker?
Well, the only thing you can do is try to get him away from the basket. They play ball screens a certain way, and who knows how they'll play them this game. You just don't know. And we're just going to try our best to try to move him around as much as possible so you can get to the rim, so you can post up. We're not a great shooting team, so we're not going to rely on shooting the three ball unless, the guys that can shoot them get open. But you can beat them in transition. We got to really get the ball up the floor quick, but take prudent shots, not quick shots, but shots that make sense, and shots that we have a chance to make that give us the best chance of winning.
Seeing what happened on Wednesday with them, does it give you guys confidence that they're not some invincible force?
I mean, I don't think they're invincible. I just think they're really, really, really good. And they got seniors. That's the other thing. They're not like some of the other teams where they're really good and they have a bunch of freshmen out there. They have seniors and juniors like a Baylor who take advantage of every single thing that you do. And our margin of error is so small. We have to play the right way and play competitively where we don't turn that small margin of error into a chasm. We shooting ourselves in the foot by doing things that are just not conducive to winning and playing as a team. So I think that if we can really just continue to do that, couch our enthusiasm, and don't do things trying to be courageous when they don't really lend themselves to winning, because they all want to win. They just don't know how to win. They want to win. And we can't let them take our confidence early in the game. We don't make shots. We have to stay with it, stay with the flow of the offense. And as time goes on, it's a 40-minute game. We can't get ourselves down, even if they get ahead. We can't get ourselves down. And it's been done before in this building. And Bubba reminded the guys today that it's been done 3 times since he's been the coach here. It's not impossible, but they are a really, really, really good team. It's certainly going to be a tough task.
You're talking about their seniors, but also obviously they have a freshman who's very athletic. And you look across the Big 12 right now, and it seems like almost every roster has freshmen who are not only playing roles, but being major contributors. What are just your thoughts on the freshman talent in this league, and why maybe guys in their first years are making such a big impact?
Well, first of all, that guy's a lottery pick. He's the cream. He's really, really, really good. So he's not your average freshman. He sat out last year, and he had a year to practice with a team that played at the championship game. So he's not the average freshman coming in and just having a freshman experience. In saying that, he's really, really good. I think that's the reason why a lot of people are saying that the league is down, and why I'm saying it's not so much down. It's going to be better in the end because all those really, really talented freshmen are going to be sophomores in the second half of the conference. And I think that once we get to the Big 12 and get to the NCAA, they're going to see that these teams are pretty good. It's just the process of what the league is going through. Also, I'll parallel that to what Texas Tech is going through because we have a young team, and there's some bruises, and we're just going to have to take along the way for us to learn how we can be a team like that. As I say that, they have a bunch of seniors. We don't. We have a bunch of new guys. Hopefully one day when we have a bunch of seniors, we can be a team that can be not necessarily dominant, but be competitive, or we can feel like we can win every single time we go on the floor.
regards to Josh Gray, that obviously sat his second technical, have you had any conversations with him after that, up to this point, and how has the response been to those conversations?
You know, Josh has come a long way. You know, I want to compliment him, first of all, on where he's come personality-wise and where he's come with his attitude. Unfortunately, now we're putting him in the most difficult situations on a big stage where he wants to do well. He just doesn't always know how to use that enthusiasm, and sometimes he loses control. And I just simply said to him, hey, that's it for the year. There are no more. There are no more chances. You know, you've had enough, and now you have to learn that that is not the proper way to play this game. And on top of that, the other team is watching film, and they're probably telling them, hey, egg this kid on, he'll lose control. And it's just a part of his journey. As a team, we have certain things we have to work on. That's something he has to work on. But I mentioned to him right after that it will not be tolerated anymore. What that means, I don't know, you know, ask me right now, but it just will not be tolerated anymore. No more technical fouls from Josh Gray.
Has he been responsive to that conversation?
Absolutely. Always responsive. You know, it's just a matter of, again, once he's in that moment, that's when we have to worry about whether he's going to, you know, act the right way or not, you know. But it's been definitely said to him in a very firm manner that it's unacceptable and it will not be tolerated going further.
Talk about the leadership of this team. How has Jaye Crockett led in practice last few days?
He's been great. He's been great. And I just think that, again, Jay is a guy that, you know, people just look at because of the stat sheet and just think that he's the natural leader of the team, and he's trying to live up to that. It's not his nature to be demonstrative with the guys. He tries to lead by example to a degree, and the thing that he has to learn is we need his presence more so than just his actions. You know, we need him to, you know, lead by example by what he says to the guys and just being demanding. He's doing a great job as far as the way he plays. I think it's been exceptional for his year. From what he's from last year to this year, I think it's been unbelievable. But in order for a team with this much inexperience to win, that's going to have to be somebody who surfaces. And it's not just when you lose like a game you lost on Tuesday. That's not what any of this is about. I would be saying the same thing after we won on Saturday. We still have the same issues Saturday before the TCU game that we have after the Baylor game. And it's a matter as a coach who knows on the inside everything that's going on, the inner workings of the team, and every day trying to make us better at those things because they will come to fruition on the court. And those are the things that we're working on, and we're trying to, and when you say measure yourself for Kansas, it's really how do you handle difficult situations or playing against really, really good teams, and how you handle if you get down or you get up. Not necessarily getting down, because this team has a problem when we have success, not necessarily handling failure. And success is harder to handle than failure. So we're just a lot of things that we're working on. We're getting better at it. It may not be, we're chipping away at it. You know, we're not making, you know, leaps and bounds, but we're chipping away. But I'm happy where their heads are right now. And I'm looking at Tuesday as a hiccup, and we get right back on track to start tomorrow.
Jay, having an extra day, having played on Tuesday to kind of get ready, how has that kind of helped you guys having kind of another day, not only to get over Baylor, but then to prepare for such a team as Kansas?
I mean, Kansas is going to come in here. You know that's going to be a good game because they're a great team. And, I mean, just having an extra day to prepare is great for us. I mean, you know, we're young. We have a lot of new guys. And just going over the game plan of how we're going to guard Kansas and ways to stop them. So, I mean, we really need this extra day.
Jeff is obviously a force. Not a lot of guys have his size and kind of speed. What just kind of do you try to do? Obviously, you're not going to shut down a guy like that, but what do you kind of try to do to limit his ability?
Well, first on the defensive end, I mean, we want to get him in the air because, you know, he's going to block shots. So we can't just go in there out of control and throw up shots because he will block those. So get him off the ground, pump fakes with the bigs. And even when the guards get in there, try to draw some fouls on him. And hopefully, I mean, and then we might double him a little bit when he's on offense. So, I mean, we'll see. We're still going over things like day by day and just we're gonna be ready by Saturday for sure.
Does it give you confidence to see what Iowa State did on Wednesday?
Yeah, it did. They went in there. I mean, we took some things from them. We watched their film and seen how they guarded, like the ball picks and stuff like that. And we're going to use some of the same techniques that they used.
Jay, talk about being your role. How have you've accepted and embraced the six-man role so well this year? Talk about how that's been for you.
I mean, just coming off the bench and being able to be a spark for the team, I mean, I feel that's great. And I didn't want to just be a distraction, like complaining about like being in the starting lineup or anything like that. I mean, Coach makes sure he gets me out there. He plays me. So, I mean, I have no problem with that. And, I mean, coming off the bench is just my role, and I really like it.
You're also a leader on the team. How does that kind of translate? Because you do start off on the bench, but you end up playing most of the minutes.
It's just I just have to go out there, like, play. You can't really think about coming off the bench or starting. You just go out there and play. I mean, every game, everybody, I mean, I respect my teammates. They respect me as a leader, and we just work together, and then everything is good.
You mentioned watching the Iowa State tape. What do you guys have to do differently? Obviously, you don't want to give up 33 to Ben McLemore. What does he kind of bring to the table, and what you guys will need to do on him?
I mean, so they're going to put up 5 great players out there at one time. So, I mean, we have to guard all of them. We can't really just focus on one player. So, I mean, we're going to guard, I mean, like every one of the starters and all the bench players, everyone's going to have their own role for when they come in and know what they need to do to stop whoever they're guarding at the time. And our help defense has to be great, too.
Is this a measuring stick type game for you? Seeing Kansas before and getting a chance to play them again?
Anytime you play Kansas, I mean, it's a great test because you know they're gonna have great players and they're gonna come out and play to the best of their ability. So they're gonna enhance your game. You're gonna have to go out there and play harder than ever because you know that they're a great team.
Do you feel the expectation when you come off the bench to get your 15 points a game?
Not really. I just go out there. I mean, if the points are there, then I'm gonna score. I don't really want to try and go out and force any shots. Like I did, I have done it a couple times. I feel like I forced some bad shots that I could have passed up, but it's really not like on my mind to go out there and just get points right off the bat.
You're the type of player though, you want the ball in your hands down the stretch?
Yes, of course. I mean, and I'm one of the older guys here, so I mean, I'm comfortable having the ball in my hand in a situation where I mean we need a bucket. I'll definitely be able to get it.
For knowledge, you kind of the same question I asked Jay. Just having to deal with Jeff down low and what he brings to the table. What kind of challenge does a player like him present to you?
It's a great challenge. He's a great shot blocker, so I know I have to pump fake him and just be real patient and always take the right shot because if I don't, then he'll block it.
You obviously played against Kansas twice last year, and their frontline players outside of Thomas Robinson obviously are back, Kevin Young and Jeff. What do you take away from those contests to know what you need to do to succeed against them?
I remember some of the things that happened last year and keep that in mind, and then as well just listen to the game plan that we have set for him.
What does it mean to have a guy like Jay come off the bench for you as a starter and the collective 5 of y'all as starters?
I mean, it's a lot. I call Jay the microwave. It was a player in the NBA. I think his name was Vinnie Johnson, and he always came off the bench and he was the microwave because every time he got in the game, he picked the flow up. So it's just a lot. I mean, somebody of that caliber to have that respect to come off the bench, being a junior. I mean that's just great.
What have you seen the biggest change in his game from last year to this year?
He's picked it up in every area. I mean, he just brings a lot of energy off the bench. He's just always hype and explosive, just everything about it. I mean, he's worked way harder this year.
You two are close off the court. How much does that translate on the court?
I think it translates a lot because we spend a lot of time together. We always cracking jokes on each other. So, I mean, we like brothers.
How do you feel about it seems like in the last few games you've kind of found some rhythm again. How do you feel like your game is coming along right now?
I'm just going to be as patient with it as I can and just do what the coaches tell me to do and just listen. And, I mean, it'll come back eventually. I can't rush it.
You guys get confidence from seeing what Iowa State did on Wednesday?
Yeah, I have a lot of confidence. I mean, I didn't think that was possible from Iowa State. A lot of confidence from that.
Watching the tape, what do you take away from what they did do well that you guys think you can maybe take advantage of?
We definitely incorporated some of the things that Iowa State did into our game plan.
Kansas has obviously lost 3 times here. It's been brought up to you. What do you think about knowing that they can be beaten with next period?
We keep that in the back of our mind. We keep that in mind, and as long as we believe, I mean, it can be done.